Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for dropping by the Dranify channel. We're definitely going to have a good show tonight. We're going to be talking to Bill, the drone reviewer, about the Air 3. And I apologize for that, guys, about that little mishap there. So, anyway, let's get started. Brad, Jenna, how are you
Hey,
today?
good. Happy Monday. Doing great.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Weather's gotten a little cooler around these parts. Not just a little cooler. It got up to 90 today, but yeah, lot nicer weather in the last couple of days.
What are you reaching for, Jenna? Something good over there in the
No,
background?
no. Just turn down the volume.
Avada!
Oh,
Avada,
uh-oh.
Avada!
Avada.
So I see our guests in the background. They're ready to jump in with us, and I don't see any reason why we should need to keep on chatting away. We're just bring them on in, right? So,
Yeah.
Bill, how are you?
Good, Al. Good
Hey,
to see
Bill.
you guys.
Thanks
Hey,
for
good
coming
to
by,
see
Joe.
you. Joe, how are you, sir?
Man,
Al, how you doing? Appreciate you having me on.
Great, man. No, it is a pleasure having you guys on. Now, Joe, man, the background I see there is gorgeous. What am I looking at, man?
That's the Smoky Mountains behind me.
Oh, nice.
I'm in Maryville, Tennessee. I've been out here two and a half weeks now, doing some tile work for some friends of mine. They hired me to do some work for them. They're building a house, so they offered me the job, and I said, "Yeah, I need the work. I'll take it." So been here 2.5 weeks. Probably got 2.5 to go. I'll be here probably till Minefield. So having fun, working, just kind of recording all of it and flying when I can and posting videos when I can.
Well, I know Brad has been chatting you with your accommodations, and you know what? If you're interested in joining us in the hotel we're at, you're more than welcome to join us.
I would love to. Yeah, I'd be happy to throw you guys some cash to sleep on the couch or something just for a night.
No, we'll get you a roll.
I like
away, whatever
I'll
they
get
call
dinner
it.
or something. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Nah,
hey Joe. I like Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks. I got you. I got you, fam.
it's just make him an alcoholic version of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Avada.
So, Bill,
Yes, sir.
what have you been into, and what have you got recently, man?
Well,
I want to see
this
this.
little guy came in.
Big screen.
I ordered it Tuesday from all places. I ordered from Adorama.
Best Buy?
They have Adorama.
I
They
had
had 12 months
Yeah.
same as cash, so I couldn't pass that up. The price was absolutely right, and I ordered it on Tuesday. It came Thursday.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very speedy, and I was very impressed with that. Charged the batteries up on Friday, and this is complaint number one. Okay, I had to use my 65-watt charger that I got with my Mini 3 Pro because it doesn't come with a charger. All right.
Right.
So I went ahead and I ordered their 100-watt charger on their website. It's supposed to show up today, but they're sold out now, and you can't. They're not on Amazon. Nobody else has them. But I think that's one of my things that I wish DJI would have included. And I think the other thing a lot of people have talked about as well too, a lot of times they'll include the ND filters. There was no ND filters in here, okay? And I think they were trying to do it for cost reasons, because it was like I think I paid $15.29 for mine, and I got the 2-year care refresh. Now, if you guys know that they've updated that program, and the number of replacements is better. The whole process is better, and I was really pleased with that. And it was an easy sell for me. I got the 2 years. It was just a done deal. Adorama sent me an email with my code, registered it, done. It was all taken care of, which was really smooth.
Were you able to buy any additional items through them?
Well, I got the Flymore kit, which included the 3 extra batteries, and here's a little extra thing that I think DJI could have improved upon. These are supposed to eject the batteries. Okay, they don't. You have to really pull hard on the batteries to get them out. That's one of the things that I found. One of the other things, of course, obviously, I got the RC2
nice.
with it, and what was real nice was I found on Amazon this, and obviously I need a neck strap right now because of my hand, and I found it DJI RC2 And it's
Well, hold on, Bill. Hold on. Let's talk about your hand. What the heck happened, man?
Oh, sure. Well, back on Mother's Day, we were getting ready to attend a cookout at my mother-in-law's, and my wife was carrying a tray of food in, and I was carrying gallons of sweet tea in. And I turned around to look at her to make sure she was okay because she was carrying a pretty big tray of food. And I kept walking, and I didn't see the edge of the driveway. And next thing you know, I looked like a Roadrunner cartoon. My legs were doing one of these. I fell, hit my head, hit my hand. Of course, I couldn't draw. Normally, you'll go like this if you fall. Well, I was holding stuff. So the brunt of the force came on my left hand. I had a nice goose egg on my forehead. They did a CAT scan. It was fine. But I broke my third metacarpal. And what was nice was it wasn't displaced, meaning the fracture was in line with each other.
It was a nice clean break.
It was a clean break.
Nice.
So all they really had to do was put it in a cast, but it was for 6 months. Right now, I'm undergoing physical therapy. My middle finger is still bent. And let me tell you, the no pain, no gain kind of thing with physical therapy. Yeah, it's.
Hey, Bill.
I have a great therapist. Boy, oh boy.
With your middle finger bent like that, is that muscle that's doing that?
That's a tendons or
tendon. I mean tendon. That's what I meant to say.
That's what
Yeah,
the
tendon.
therapist is telling me. And I can get you see, I can do this with my hand. I can almost do this with my left hand without my brace on. I'm pretty close to doing that. And I'm doing all kinds of. They're going 3 times a week right now, and it's like,
wow.
Yeah. So, and I still can't technically. I can't drive long distances. I can drive one-handed, like to my doctor's appointment and my physical therapist appointment, but long distances like work, I work from home 3 days a week anyway, and it's about a 35, 40-mile drive one way to work. So one-handed, that's not going to work. So my doctor's, said, let's not get that till you're able to fully. See, I really technically can't grasp, pull, do a lot of things with this hand, although most of the time I go without the brace. So,
all right, I'm going to reel you back in. Can you fly with that hand?
That's the important question right there.
That's the important part. Okay. Well, what's nice is, and you can say, I'll try to demonstrate it a little.
Thank you, Jenna.
Let's see here.
Always hard to do, right, with the camera.
All right, here. See, I have the.
You got to pinch it. You got to pinch it, man.
Yeah, I have the pincher movement on this, so it works well, especially putting this around my head and leaving it hang. And these this is lighter than the RC Pro. This is considerably lighter than the RC Pro. But one of the nice things that I found about it was, and kind of surprised, well, 2 things that I was impressed with was the antennas on it. Because I talked to Original Dobo on premiere day, and he said the range on this is crazy. And he was telling me about where he and I flew once, and it's down by the Skyway Bridge here in Tampa, and there's a lot of signal interference. He had no problems down there, and I had no problems the other day too. In fact, I turned my back kind of on purpose when I took my flight out, and there was no problem with signal on this at all. It was rock solid. One of the things that I like that they improved on this, and nobody really talks about it, is onboard storage on here is better than the previous model, the one that comes with the Mini 3 Pro. There's more onboard storage. I did put an SD card in here, and it did work. So what I like to do is when I do my screen recordings, I usually transfer it via Bluetooth to my smartphone, and then I download it via Dropbox to my desktop. That usually is how I do my workflow on here, and it went through seamless. The other thing is the screen, and you guys know how bright it is down here in Florida.
Right.
There was I had zero problem seeing this, and
they said that's 700 nits, right?
Yeah, and it was every bit of 95 degrees at 6 o'clock yesterday p.m.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah, it's been brutal down here, but I could see the screen clearly. There was absolutely no questions about that. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was, you can see they have a new gimbal cover on here. All right. And it's good, but the problem is right here, trying to get this. There's a lip under here and it fits inside there. Trying to get that in there and get it to stay. It's almost like I feel like I'm forcing it, and I'm not too pleased about that. I wish they would have come up with something like I did with the Mavic 3 that, you know, that,
Question. Remember the Mavic 2? That was a tough one to put on.
yeah, that was a
Jenna,
tough
you
Yeah.
still
one.
have your Mavic 2. Remember
Yeah.
that thing? You gotta balance it right and right at the right time, snap it in.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I
it's
don't know.
kinda
That's
like
my
that with this
technique.
one. It's kind of like that with this one.
Okay.
Although I gotta say, I think it holds the camera really well. I'm real.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Ow.
There's
That was-
a cutout
was
right,
me,
you can
Bill.
see right here. There's a cutout right here,
Yep.
Mhm.
and it holds the camera in place. It's really secure. But the thing that I liked about the holder for the Mavic 3 was it also held the props too, and it held them real stable. As you can see, you know, there's really it's kind of recessed right here for where the props can go, which is nice.
Mhm.
But I wished it would have had some kind of holder in it, because, you know, even when you go ahead and, you know, buy a case for it, you know, I like to have the props kind of in place. You know, I think that I think that's kind of
Mhm.
important.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's one of the things that you're probably going to purchase, additional accessories, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to purchase a prop holder for this. Also, I'm a big fan, and I don't know if you guys have ever had Lycus cases, Lykus.
Yep.
They are fantastic. I have one for the Mini 3 Pro. I have
It's kind of
one
like the Harding cases. Remember the Pelican cases too? They're
Yeah.
all in the same kind of category, you know, the same kind of quality, and
but
they're
their
so
price-
freaking rugged, man.
Their price is good. It's about
What are we
$60.
talking? 125?
No, these are $60.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Oh,
They're very
Oh,
good.
nice.
And I emailed the guy who's apparently, I think he's like their chief architect or designer, and he said in 30 days they'll have one available. So I told him, I said, please email me, because I'm gonna, as soon as it hits, I'm gonna buy it and get it. And the thing that I like about these Lycus cases too, and I learned this from Rick Smith from Drone Valley. One of the things he said to always look for is when you're putting your drone in, you don't want the props to be above the foam. You want them to be below the foam. And
Yeah,
the
because they'll
Lycus
deform them otherwise, and you'll end up with EFC errors. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you flatten out the blade, and the EFCs will work super hard because the flight controller is going, hey, I don't have any lift in the rear right. Give me all the juice. And
Yeah.
then I've had my EFC get really hot because of that before. And that occurred when the first Mini came out. You remember the Flymore combo? The
Mhm.
Flymore combo, you know, tucked those the way it folds. It tucked those props underneath, and then everything got shoved on top of it and flattened those props out, deformed them.
Yeah, that wasn't
So
good.
you didn't get any lift at them. So yeah, that's a good idea, Bill. I'm all in on trying
Well,
to get
the
stuff
other
like
thing,
that.
and I don't have it here, is the case that came with the Flymore kit. All right, it's probably one of the nicer cases that DJI has ever come up with. However, the buckle for that, how it buckles together, it very easily comes apart. So if you're carrying that, you know, it's like all of a sudden that top of that case can come off without warning. I think
Oh
that's
boy,
a big
that would be disastrous.
miss. I mean, I
Yeah.
never have really used those cases.
It would just
so-
spill all your stuff all over the place, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're over water, you're hurting, man.
Yeah, you're hurting. I mean, it's, you know, it's a nice case. Don't get me wrong, but you know, the way that buckle system is and that clasp in there, gonna pass on that.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, one of the things I can say is I shot the video. I haven't put my video together yet, but I looked at it out of the you know, before I haven't done any editing to
What
it.
did you shoot it at? What was the resolution?
I use 4K 30 frames per second. And that's what, and I asked Ken.
Well, why
Ken,
are you choosing 30 versus 60?
I wanted to choose 30 because I wanted to make sure I got some good colors with it, because I knew it was later in the day. It was not as bright. And I really
The 24
didn't
might have been better. I use 24 for that case a lot, but you have to
Yeah.
worry about.
Yeah, you know, it was a crapshoot, and I went with 30 because I asked Ken the other day when I talked to him a little bit, and he was saying he used 30 when he did his flight, and it was kind of later in the afternoon as well too. So I kind of thought that would be a good resolution. You know, all in all, and I gotta say this: Precision Landing, it nailed it. You know,
Good,
but
good.
one of the things that I do, you know, without fail, is I do all the calibrations before I go out there. And you guys are probably familiar with Lauren Donauer, right?
Yeah. Oh
He's a
Yeah.
yeah.
lot on.
course.
He's on Drone Nation a lot with Ron and Marcus. He
Yeah.
got me going, and what I do is I calibrate the the RC2. But what I do is, you know, you calibrate the joysticks, but you also calibrate the controller too. There's a thing that it does is you move it kind of like in a figure eight pattern, kind of like there's a compass calibration for this. You know, a lot of people don't know that. I did that.
Didn't know
Of
that.
course, I did the compass
Yeah.
calibration
Good point.
for this. I did the IMU calibration, you know, where you lay it on the side and then you keep flipping it over. And then I did the gimbal calibration for this. I do all of that. And then there were two updates. There was an update for the drone itself, and there was also an update for the controller. And I got to say this: these updates coming through on the controller were flawless. I mean, you know,
Good.
it's like you don't. There was not. It didn't skip a beat. It linked up right away with my Wi-Fi. I had no problem with that. Got the downloads done. It was minor stuff. It really wasn't things that were real significant. One was about transferring files or something or other. It really wasn't, you know, any kind of a big deal on that. One of the
Let
things
me
that
let me interrupt you for a second, and I wanted to kind of give Brad a chance to welcome in. Jenna, welcome everybody that's in. You guys have been reading chat, and I have not. So, you want to guys
Yeah.
take a minute to welcome the guests?
Yeah. Jenna, do you wanna do the honors?
Yeah, well, I mean, we got Lens Capture Online, we got Flying for Bob, Mr. Skyfly, East Coast Thrills, it's got Steve Knowles,
Somebody got a warning system. No
Maddie,
big deal.
yeah.
Good
You
old.
got storms in the area,
Yeah.
Bill?
we got Mr.
No, it
Hands-
was Amber Alert.
Oh, Amber, oh no.
Sorry about that, Jenna.
Oh yeah, no, I
Sorry.
was just saying Mr. Handsome in there, aka Johnny.
Hey, did you shave your head yet, Johnny?
Brad, your turn.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention, but I know I'm gonna start from the bottom. I know Tom's in here, Lens Capture Online. We got John Flying Flynn. I might be repeating some of what you said. Bob
Yeah.
Casey, hey, how you doing? You're probably repeating everything you said already.
I started from the
In
bottom
order.
and then I went out.
I was trying to queue up a video that speaking on the Air 3 that Billy Kyle did with that extreme range test he did.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up when you Bill
When
were talking about
Bill was talking about that with the antennas, and they went a model without the antennas, and you didn't have the range at that point, and now they've gone back to the antennas with it, and you can get up to 20 kilometers. And I think Billy proved that out there in the what was it, Salt Flats, right?
yeah, the Salt Flats.
He went 12
It's like 12
miles
miles,
or
isn't it? My goodness.
something, yeah, almost 12 miles, and
Wow.
and it was amazing. I was really surprised, and he was still getting good video and everything.
Well, you guys know who this channel is here? This some guy, some wild guy, man.
Some
That's the
really-
Kansas City skyline. What's that?
Yeah, the Kansas City skyline in the background. I see that. Yep. So, guys, if you haven't visited Joe's Photo Leo's, YouTube channel, you should. He's got 318 subscribers, 245 videos. Help him out. Go out there and check out his videos. And so, while we're at it, Joe, which one do you want me to just kind of promote today? Well, you can talk through it.
You know what? You can play that. You can play that first one there. The one I uploaded. I think it was this morning. That was flying from yesterday. I think you can probably go in. I'm just chatting about being by myself for the day and finding a place to fly. This is Nirvana, so you'll want to make sure you're muted.
I am.
Go to my channel, everybody, and so you can listen to it.
And who is that wild
guy? Met up with Jeff, 4 States Aerial Photography. He happened to be in the area, as I'm saying right here in this video. He was in the area with his family. He reached out to me. He said, "Hey, you're in Tennessee. I see. Let's meet up." I said, let's
this
do it.
is
So
like big field. This is fun stuff right here.
yeah, it was a good time. It's an old schoolhouse. That was a lot of fun. There was a barn. That first part, there was just an old rusty barn fly around, and just hit about, I don't know, 4 or 5 different spots. And then after I dropped him back off at his condo, I hit a couple other spots on the way home. But
You know, Jenna
just a
would be
blast. I
flying
mean,
through all
I
those
live.
windows, right? Jenna,
Oh,
What's that?
you'd
Yeah,
fly
I ain't
through
hitting
all
that
those
smaller
gaps.
gaps just yet. Yeah. Those gaps are a little small for me just yet. I fly the POS. I'm not trying to break it again.
You can break
But
some windows.
That's a pretty big drone to fly through small gaps.
for sure. But
Very
I'm
nice,
loving
Joe.
it, and the scenery is beautiful. Most of you guys know I live in Houston, Texas, so that's a pancake. And so
And
to
now
see
you're at the golf course.
anything,
Are you terrorizing
yeah.
the golfers, man?
I was trying to avoid. I was certainly avoiding the people, but I was flying close enough that they could hear me. But I wasn't flying that. I wasn't buzzing them or anything like that.
Okay, I'm going to skip another 10, 30 seconds here. And this looks
Go
like
ahead,
you're
yeah.
headed back. You're headed back to the job site, maybe?
Yeah, there's a good. Yeah, I did some transitions like that where I just kind of flip into another
Right.
spot if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that a few times in there, and
And that's the trick about FPV editing, right? As soon as you make a wild move, you bring it in, and you cut into another wild move. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And I
Hey,
know
and
that.
I want to let everybody know, and that's in the chat. I posted Joe's YouTube channel. When you get a chance after the show,
Please
give him some love. Give him some love.
Yeah, give
Thank
me
you,
some
B-Rad.
Appreciate it, Joe.
We'll get Bill. We're going to get Bill's channel up here in a little bit as well.
Yep, I'll get you going here, Bill. So continue, Bill.
Appreciate
We're
showing that out.
interested in
Oh,
hearing.
sure. Well, one of the big things that people talked about, and what it was stellar how Ron and Marcus and I we kind of nailed things ahead of time. And one of the things that people railed about, and I mean literally, it was like a nonstop issue, was this 1-inch sensor business. Okay, and it doesn't have the 1-inch sensor on it. How can we see anything good come out of this? And I mean, it was like on repeat. I mean, it was like wash, rinse, repeat, like you see on the back of a shampoo bottle.
Who do you think has started that FUD?
I really don't know.
But
I'll
it's
tell you
got to
what.
be the competitors, right? I mean, it's a classic strategy by large companies, right? You start throwing, as you know, you throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. And it sounds like that one's sticking.
Well, what they did was, and this was genius. Couple things I can say on this. One, I kept saying, you know what? Don't judge a book by its cover. Get the drone out, fly it, get the video, get the SD card, take a look at it, okay, before you make any kind of judgments on that. All right. The other thing,
and you can look at here, Tom Lens Capture Online saying that he really is impressed by it. Are you impressed by it, Bill?
Yes, I am. The stack sensors, okay. Ken, Original Dobo, he's one of my favorite people. I absolutely love that guy. He came on. He was on with. I joined Ron and Marcus and Johnny on Premiere Day. And he talked about the stack sensors. And I'll tell you what, it was genius on DJI's part because, one of the things that DJI always has a tendency to do was to give us something that we didn't know we needed and not tell us about it. And it was these stack sensors. All right. And Dobo was still, you guys know what Ken does now. He's full-time real estate photography. Okay, that's his job, right? Yeah. And you know what he said he's doing? He's going to go ahead and he's dedicated. He's going to buy a second Air 3 because he's so impressed with that. He's going to do his workflow on real estate with the Air 3. That's how impressed.
What is he using now? The Mavic 3?
Yes, he was using the Mavic 3.
Yeah, and the reason why is it's a smaller platform, or
the runtime. The runtime on this battery is just astronomical. And if you guys know, this battery charger has that new feature. Mm-hmm. Let's say 2 batteries are at 50% and one's at
70%. Ow.
There's a button you can push on here that it will draw from the 2 with the 50% and get that 75% up to speed like right away, ASAP. I haven't tried that yet.
How quick does that charge that, Bill?
It took, and now this was a kicker, because I used my 65-watt charger here. It took 4 hours.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because it was a 65-watt charger. Because if I had the 100-watt charger, it'd probably been about 2 hours. Okay,
Right.
so
4 hours
and I
for the
have
three
that's
batteries?
coming today. So, but I'm
That was
glad
for
that
all 3 batteries.
yeah.
Okay.
And what I really liked about this was, I bought an extra one of these when I got the Mavic 3, and this came in, and everybody said you might want to look at the 100-watt, and I'm like, what? Because that's what they were selling with the Mavic 3 Enterprise series. It was 100-watt chargers, and I'm like, I don't know. But then right away with this one, I didn't hesitate. I bought my drone from Adorama. I got the 100-watt charger out on DJI site because nobody else had it, and within probably about an hour they were sold out.
Dang, you're lucky then.
So that,
Yeah, I
so
was very lucky to get.
Yeah,
that,
so
that
that's
type C-
one thing to note. Definitely buy that with Fly More
Definitely.
Con. Don't forget to do that
Yeah.
add-on.
I think that with DJI that was $99, right, Bill? Something
Right,
like that.
it was $99 exactly.
Everybody's been saying that's the one to get. I mean, that's the new Type C PD charging
Man, that's a
system,
lot of
they have.
bucks.
And it's 100 watts is a lot. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's
100
like,
bucks for 100 watts.
it
$1 a
was,
watt.
what's interesting is I got a new desktop about 3 months ago, or not a new desktop, but a new laptop. It's an HP
Mhm.
Omen. You got to see the charging brick for this thing. It's about this big, okay, and it's 120 watts. All right,
Right.
that thing is a behemoth. All right, I had to find space for it on my desk. It was so stinking big. But no, this charger on this was a godsend. I'm so glad somebody told me about that. Or Ken Dono told me, he said, Bill, you got to get one of those. He said that's the only way to fly. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna have 4 hours of charge, right?
yeah. Oh, just to let you guys know, I know a lot of people are big on these Samsung 128 gigabyte cards. Doesn't work with the Air 3.
Wow.
I tried it in there.
Oh.
I got a Read Air. So
Really?
Wow.
yeah.
The ones you get on Amazon, like 4 of those for like $60 or something like that.
I actually got these. These were 17 a piece at Best Buy.
Okay.
Which was good, but I'm going to send them back because I ended up putting a 64 gig SanDisk in there, and it worked like nobody's
Did you
business.
get the Extreme Pro or just the Extreme?
I had the Extreme Pro.
So you got the
SanDisk.
black and red. Gotcha.
Yeah, the black and red. Yeah,
So you
And
got
it
the
worked.
black and red.
yeah, and of course,
Yeah, now that's the one I use on
Do you,
the Mavic 2 Pro.
I guess the question would be then for the panel, for you, Bill, what do you think a firmware update will fix that later?
it's possible, but I didn't go up, Brad. I didn't go out to the website. See, that's one of the things. I'll just blindly put an SD card in there. Because I get a ton of emails and comments and people asking me, what SD card should I use, and I always give them the link, and I go out there to DJI's website, and a lot of times, sometimes, I don't follow my own. The doctor doesn't take his own medicine, and that's the same thing here with this. So what I did was I ended up looking out there, and sure enough, this was, because, and I think the problem is not from the SD card itself, but because it's 128. I think.
You think so? I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't think they would have a limitation on the file system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I went in there. It formatted it okay, but then when I went to try, and of course, I like to do
No errors on the format. No.
no errors on the format.
It
And what
just
I like
doesn't-
to do is
It doesn't
before I
recognize
take this out. I fire up the video like right here where I'm sitting at my desk to make sure everything's working fine, and it popped up with an error immediately. It wouldn't let me hit.
So what do you? So okay, so it looks like there's definitely something off on that card for sure, and they're trying to pass it off as what? Is that a V30? Of course, it's a V30.
Yeah, it's a V30. I got one of them.
Yep.
I just ordered 4 of those myself, and or 3 of them. I got 3 of them in with the
Yep.
Type A adapters.
They
So I
probably
got-
work with that Avata, okay,
Yeah, it should work with the Avata and the POS and all those other ones. Yeah, they should be fine.
but
You would
maybe
think.
not the bit rate that we're seeing out of the Air 3.
Why would it not work with the Air 3? That
It's definitely not keeping up with the rate
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, well,
So you're getting a write error or a read error?
It didn't say. It just said incompatible. It came
It
up
just
with,
basically say, get out of here, go away.
yeah. It just came up with an error. It was very generic. It didn't specify that. Well,
So
for me
Hot Rod,
anyway.
Rod said he's using a 256 on his Mavic 3 Pro that works fine. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's the next level for these drones. You know, the more storage. I don't like moving up to a 256 because it's more of a risk. If you fill that card up, it's double the data you could lose, or you know, with the drone or an error in the card. And I like the 128s myself for pretty much everything I do.
Well, yeah, you know, and for me, for what I do, okay, whenever I go out and see, a lot of times I'll do like 2 or 3 of my videos that I put out on the channel on one battery. All right, that's how crazy long these batteries last.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I
So,
mean,
so you got 4 batteries or
46
3
minutes.
batteries?
I got 3.
So 3 times 40. So you're
That's
that's like a long day right there.
Yeah,
2 hours.
it'll run
2 hours.
forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Hey Joe, you try to do that with the FPV.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to take 3 aspirins and
Better get 17 batteries.
Well, the Avata,
3 aspirins and 2 of these, said the doctor.
the Avata's not far behind it, right? I get about 12 minutes on my Avata.
And maybe some of the other stuff, Joe.
There you go.
Don't cough too much, man.
Hey, I want to say hi to Alexis is in the house in the chat. How you doing, Alexis?
Yeah, keep going. Howdy, Alexis. Thanks for dropping by, man. I was
Well, Bill, that's exciting. You got that drone, and you know I've been telling everybody, you know, in Johnny's polls on his website and talking in the chats and talking in the live YouTube shows and stuff, and I've been telling everybody, no, I'm not buying the Air 3. I'm happy with the Air 2S. I'm happy with my Mini 3 Pro, and now my Avata. I got the perfect trifecta setup. But now, you know, now I feel like I've got the FOMO, fear of missing out. So this drone looks amazing, and I've heard your story, what you just said. Ken Dono's doing. I've heard a couple people say they're going to move down from a Mavic 3 Pro. That's the second person I've heard that's going to leave the Mavic 3 Pro or move into working with it commercially on the Air 3. So that's interesting.
I think it's that good, personally.
Yeah, sounds like it. It's got me wanting one now.
Yeah, size and portability, right? I mean, if you can get the job done with smaller, something less, more efficient, then go for it.
And the thing with me, I had thought about maybe splurging on a Mavic 3 Pro because I wanted that 3x zoom. Well, problem solved. You know, I was praying that other camera on the Air 3 was that 3x.
I have a Mavic 3 story here. I bought the original Mavic 3 and I sold it because I was going to buy the Mavic 3 Pro. I bought the Mavic 3 Pro. Literally, it wasn't more than, I don't know how, it was less than a week later, this happened. Okay. So I just ended up sending it back because I'm like, okay, it's going to be at least a minimum of 6 weeks to 2 months before I can get out and use it. So I'm just going to send it back. And then the more that I started finding out about the Air 3, I'm going to say, you know what? Yeah, I did the right thing. And I am thoroughly convinced after a first flight. Okay. You know, and one of the things that I just absolutely love about this drone is the ascent and descent speed on this thing. It is just, it's crazy. It's
the fastest in its class, right?
Yes, it is. It is just absolutely insane how fast this goes up and down. Of course, one of the things that I want to do for a video coming up probably in the next week or two, we have a nice clubhouse in the community where we live in. I live in a 55 and over community, and the pool is lit up at night, and it's just gorgeous over there. And I did that with the Mavic 3, and I'm going to take this over, you know, in the parking lot over there and go around to the back at night and get that, because that night shot that I did with the Mavic 3 was fantastic. And that's one of the things that I'm real anxious to do with this. And then one of the other tests that I do, and it's so funny because I do this with every drone. I get a ton of views on it, but I also get a ton of these comments on, I call it an altitude test. Okay. Well, you're only flying at 400 feet. I'm like, okay, well, you know, let's level set here. Okay. I don't live in Canada. I don't live over in Europe. I don't live over in Australia. Okay. My rules state 400 AGL. Okay. And what I do is I post a link to the FAA website that has that rule in there. And I'll tell people, in my pinned comment, I says, any comments about about the 400 feet rule, okay, I'm going to delete them. All right. And I do that constantly, but I'll get crazy number of views for them.
I bet you do, because everybody's saying altitude test. I wonder how high it goes, right?
Well, those same
clickbait
people are trying to get you to do something that you'll get in trouble for, and then they get to laugh about it.
Bingo, right. Exactly.
Exactly.
I tell people something, and and I think probably all you guys know this, and Jenna, sorry for the word guys, but all of you know this, okay, is when you're up at altitude, all right, and you're up at 400 feet, things look different, okay? It's not, it's not, you're not getting the detail, you're not getting crispness, right. You're not seeing things up there. Plus, if you are a fairly new flyer, you can get really lost real quickly because it looks different from 100.
There is a good thing about this, Bill. You don't hit anything.
You don't hit anything.
Well, I'm going to change the subject a little bit here, guys. You guys, I'm going to show you something. You guys remember this event?
Oh yeah.
That was great.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that happy face.
I was so jealous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Such a nice win there.
Yep.
Everybody wants a picture of that, right?
I still can't believe
every time we have this show,
look
we
at that smile.
We get
oh my gosh! Look at, just like a little girl got a nice toy. Yeah. Oh,
now that I think about this, I don't remember. I was checking tickets of people that were winning. I don't remember checking yours, Jenna.
You'll take it back.
Oh, there's Al and Alexis. No, we know Jenna won that fair and square.
I was really glad that an FPV
I'm just going through my phone. Going through my phone and looking at this.
There's Nick. Yeah, Nick's great.
Nick's great, isn't he?
Yeah, Nick's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to have Nick on it again.
That was such a great event.
Yeah,
that was really a great event. Now Minefield's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be around water like this. Now he does have some water, a little bit of a creek running underneath some of his stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with that.
Oh boy, I don't know what I'm going to see here. I'm just going through pictures. Okay, I'll stop.
I said creek, Joe, I said
not want to do that
live, you might get caught in a compromising position, Joe.
Well, two things I was wondering about. Okay, well, one is, all right, so Bill, you're talking about a 55 and older. How does somebody like 40, about like your age, how does somebody that young get 55 and older? One.
Well, you just won a lot of bonus points there. I'll tell you that. that is absolutely fantastic.
Hey, Jenna, your nose is a little brown.
That is absolutely fantastic. No, it's like, one of the nice things about living here, and I've never lived in a gated community before, and I love that. All right. Like after 6 at night, you got to have your pass to get in here. And then we have a security person up front, and that's nice. What's real nice, one of my favorite things, there's pickleball, there's tennis courts, there's two pools that are together, which are fantastic.
Do you have bingo night?
They have like all kind of card rooms in there. But the thing that I really like is we have an on-site restaurant here, and they're open Tuesday through Sunday. They serve lunch and dinner, and it's just in very reasonable prices, and I really, really, really like it. What's real nice is the property that I have, we bought it. We have the largest property in the development out of 550 home sites. We bought it.
That's a large development.
It's a spec home, and next to it, and it's a twin villa. It's kind of twin single kind of a thing. But what's real nice is they could have probably built another twin villa on the property that we have right next to us, and they didn't.
Which is a double lot, nice.
Double lot, which is really, really nice. Now it's also going to enable me to imbibe in my other passion, which is ham radio. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know this, I have a ham radio channel. It's called Ham Radio Basics. You guys are all welcome to subscribe. And I have a show on Wednesday nights, and we have a lot of fun. And I was 3 days away from going up to Ohio not only to see meet my granddaughter who I haven't met before, the younger one, but I was going to Hamvention up there, which is the largest ham radio convention in the United States. And 3 days before that happened, this happened. So we had to cancel the trip. Haven't met our second granddaughter yet. You know, that's, you know, we're
Bill,
trying.
you said you live in Tampa?
Yes.
You
yes,
say you
still living in Tampa.
My dad lives in Parrish.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what?
Right.
I'll tell you what.
Right close to you.
Absolutely love living here. And the one
It's
thing
beautiful.
I really like as far as hurricane season is concerned, because Tampa's on the bay side, for a hurricane to hit us, it has to come up through the Gulf and up and around and down kind of a thing. And it's real rare that we get that. But one of the things that we did after we got hit last year it ended up hitting Fort Myers, and they were devastated. But we didn't get it.
I saw the footage of that.
We didn't have power for 2 days, 2.5 days. And my wife and I, we agreed. Yep. We ended up buying a Generac generator. It's powered by natural gas. So we'll never be without power again. I mean, that's just, I mean, we decided to make that investment, which will be worth, I mean, we're not planning on leaving this place at all, but in case we do for some reason, it'll have a great resale value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. And then, you know, you have the cutoff switch is built in, so it's got the sensor built in. So as soon as the input goes to zero, boom, it kicks in and switches everything over. So that's very nice. Yeah, I had that.
I've been chatting with Rod a little bit through text, and I forgot about something. He mentioned that it's off of all the subjects we've been talking about, but DJI has updated the firmware on the Integra goggles and the goggles too. So now they work with the FPV, DJI FPV POS.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep. So that's good to know. That's definitely good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to corral the cats again, and I'm going to get back on topic. So what are the accessories that if you had, I'm going to ask this to the panel, if you had the Air 3 today, Bill's the only one that has it right now, what accessories would you be interested in purchasing? Jenna?
I would probably something that would take a 360 camera.
Very nice.
Like a mount, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, they got beautiful cameras, but what about something having a 360 somewhere on the drone itself, or you know, what I call a SI camera.
I like it. That sounds good. Yeah. And you know what? If you think about the way those sensors are on Air 3, all right. So if we step back 2.5 years ago, back to the Skydio, right? Basically, they ended up having three Insta360 cameras built into that Skydio 2. You know, because it had 3 cameras up top and 3 cameras on the bottom. So basically, you had 3 Insta360s mounted on that platform that was doing all the mapping real time and doing all the predictive analysis for tracking you, right? And so now what we're seeing in the evolution of DJI's new sensor technology with those fisheye sensors, which are now claiming to be 360. So basically what we're seeing today, we're seeing 2 Insta360 cameras on top and 1 on the bottom. So we're seeing, again, 3 total Insta360 platforms, lenses to map the world again. And it makes sense. They're doing, you know, the 2 on top, right? The front and rear fence facing cameras, and then the ones on the bottom. So it looks like, you know, they finally caught up to the Skydio in that sense as trying to map it. I don't think they're going to have the algorithms or any of the predictive analysis that Skydio uses for tracking. And I don't think they're going to push the limit like Skydio 2 is. So have we heard from Skydio lately? I know they had the X2 coming out. Remember, did it ever make it to market? Everybody remember? They had a military grade Skydio 2 out, targeted for the boys and girls in the military. But I haven't seen anything.
Never heard if it came out or not. Anybody in the chat know what's the deal with that? I haven't heard not anymore on that.
So interesting
To answer your
evolution.
previous question, Al, I'd get ND filters. I'm a fan of the 180-degree rule, so I'd get ND filters for the 3.
Agreed. So, do you attach your GoPro to your POS, or you just use the raw footage?
I have to try it, and the difference isn't, and it's the all I have is an Action 1, and it's good, but it's not good enough for me to risk breaking that. It flies a lot heavier. It's already a brick, you know. It's a
I have
potato,
GPS
so,
issues when I do that.
yeah. I don't care for that, for the way it feels.
Yeah, but it is a POS, so GPS is not a priority for me on
Right.
because basically you're flying in a different way.
That's one thing
It's
is
not a
I
picture drone.
struggled to turn the GPS off on my Action 1, so it interfered with the satellites. And on the POS, once you get too high or too far, too fast, it'll kick you back into normal mode, which is a pain in the ass.
True. Yeah, true. I know it's a little top heavy too, so if you're doing acrobatics on it, it's kind of weird, man. And it really, like, you'll start to turn and all of a sudden you're like, oh, all of a sudden it reaches that point and it just flips you and you're like, oh.
I guess that's one of those things you really got to know your drone and the balance of it to really make that
because
work.
it's coming. Once you tilt it over, it just flips you right on over and you got to just keep it moving. So if you're not used to that additional, 600-700 grams. No, it's not that much. How many grams? 300 grams in the GoPro now?
In the case for the Action 1, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't the Action 1 like 250 grams, something like that?
Yeah, it's nothing to laugh about for sure.
No, I mean, puts it up over.
Jim's droning. Jim says he's got the DJI Backpack for his POS.
Oh, nice.
Same here.
So I guess that's what you got, Joe.
I have the one from and I love it. The one from multicoptercases.com. It's out of Germany, I believe. I have the hard shell case for the Air 2S as well. That also holds the big white goggles. But great. The POS it'll accept the arm bracers and the props you can leave on, so I don't have to take any of that off, and the battery. And it holds. It's got a spot for the battery in the drone, and then 5 more slots. So holds 6 batteries. I have 7. There's pockets for the extra. So
very nice
backpack.
All right, so I just checked out the weights on the GoPro 10. It's 158 grams. Okay, pretty heavy. And if you use the GoPro Bones, it's 58 grams. So you're not carrying those additional 100 grams from the battery and your displays. So maybe the Bones would be the way to go.
Yeah, but it doesn't. The Bones, you wire that into your battery lead, and how do you do that on a POS?
Yeah, there's a lot of hacks on that one, Joe, for the POS. And so there's a lead that you can pop out of each. You end up voiding your.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah, you're going to void your warranty on it, but
Oh.
I don't know. With how good these cameras are getting, especially like the 03, and then the connectivity and everything, and that they've come out now with the 04. Where's the camera? I mean, soon, kind of not here already, depending on what you're flying. You're not going to need a GoPro.
I agreed. Yeah, I agree. Agreed.
I mean, Joshua,
with 03, like you said.
Yeah, it was like 03 on there, and he was.
Well, it's like the Avata, right? I haven't tested it out a whole lot, but doesn't it have like a rock steady function where or horizon lock? It's got both of those built into the.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to get the horizon. The horizon lock hasn't worked for me yet for some reason. I set it up in the goggles and I couldn't get it to lock in for some reason.
You see what Maddie's saying?
Operator error.
He might be willing to do a little trade there, huh? If you got an 11,
well, all right. So
the Bones.
I'll answer next, Al, on what would I get. I like Jenna. I like your thoughts on the 360 camera. I like that whole idea. I don't have an application for it I'd rather just fly the drone and take the video off of it. But I think I'm gonna go back to what Bill started with back early on, as the case I think you mentioned that, Bill, earlier about a nice case for it and having protection for it and being able to throw it in, the bed of a truck or take it on on the airplane or whatever, throw it in overhead. But I mean, if I was to get anything else, again, with Bill, what you said, I've got to make sure those props are secure. Those props can't be
So
flopping
you would do
around.
2 accessories for sure. You're talking about an
Yeah.
organized
Yep.
case, and you were talking about some kind of propeller management.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. How about you, Joe? What would you
One of the
purchase?
things that really
Like I
intrigued
said,
me
ND
is
filters.
they had a for the Air
Sorry, go ahead.
2S, they had a drop and release mechanism for it,
I'll
and
have that. Remember, we're testing it.
that'd be something I'm interested in because it's a crossover to ham radio. Okay. And what I can do is I can take up some paracord with a weighted bag on the end of it. Say find a 50-foot tree, drop it over there, and then tied to the other end of the paracord is an antenna. It's called an end-fed half-wave antenna. Just trying to.
And you hoist it
And
up
that
there.
way I can just pull down on that weighted bag, and my antenna's up in the tree just like that. Because guys use slingshots. They try to throw them up there. They use what they call them potato launchers.
I'm surprised they don't use crossbows or compound.
I've seen them use crossbows before.
Yeah, crossbows. Yeah.
But it's a foolproof method because I've actually seen it a couple times. And one of the other ones was I saw a guy with the original Mini, the DJI Mini. He tied wire on the bottom of the Mini. As you know, there's no sensors on it, and he pulled it up 150 feet in the air. And forever, how long the battery life he had from the Mini, he had an incredible antenna. He was making contacts like nobody's business.
Oh man! Well, now you can do it for 42 minutes.
Yeah, and see, that's a wonderful thing to be able to
fly your antenna up as high as you can.
Yeah, but and the other thing, you're limited by the battery time. Unfortunately, you got to come back down after 45 minutes or so. But it's a nice option to be able to have that drop and release mechanism. And
so you want the drop and release mechanism. That's what you're choosing.
Yeah, okay. That's what I would choose. Of course, besides obviously the case that should come out.
Well, I wanted to give Joe a chance to reply here. I know he's on mute. Did I put you on mute or did I?
No, I did because the dog here that's in my face was chewing a water bottle behind me, so I muted myself. No, I said ND filters earlier. 100%, I'd get ND filters for it.
ND filter
probably
for
a backpack.
Sure.
I like this. I like a hard shell, but they get so damn heavy. So I really like the backpack style for my POS. I'd probably do the same for Air 3.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, I am anamorphic lenses is what I want. I particularly like the star filters for night shooting with a light star effect. I really like that effect. ND filters, I'm with you, Joe. But I am a hard case guy. I need a hard case because I'm always on a boat. I'm always on a kayak. Okay. And I usually make a cutting so I can throw my phone in there too. So if I capsize or anything like that, my phone's going to stay dry and my drone's going to stay. And then with those lenses, it makes it easier for me. But I'm really
intrigued. If you're on a boat, definitely hard shell.
Yeah, hard shell for sure, and also it's a good seat. By the way, actually, I've actually stand on it before too.
What you're saying, Alice, you need a flotation device.
That would be a good one, and our waterproofing device would be the best, right? But yeah, flotation device like Nurk. What he does when he flies over water, you know what he usually did? He drinks his water bottle, puts the water cap back on it and puts a zip ties on his 2 water bottles for his flight. So if he makes a mistake, he can at least retrieve his SD card. So that's
one of the other things I wanted to say about the Air 3. Okay, there were rumors ahead of time, and Igor on Twitter was the source of a lot of these rumors. But one of them was that this was going to be a concurrent charger, meaning all 3 batteries could charge at once. That didn't work out, did it? And, I was kind of a little on the suspicious side because, I mean, how many years has DJI, I've had DJI drones since 2016. And how many years the chargers they put out over the years and everything have they done concurrent charge? It's been 0. Okay. And then all of a sudden they were going to come out with it. Okay. And I was like, all right, I'm a little excited. I think this is a good idea. Maybe it'll work. Okay. Because you went out and I got a good education on this. And one of the things that I really like about Rick Smith, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but by trade, he's an electrical engineer. I think he works for Hitachi. Okay. And he knows his everything about electricity. Okay. The man is just very brilliant and very smart on that. And one of the things that he did was he worked with a company over in China to develop a concurrent charger. And I think this was on the Air 2, Air 2S. And it looks similar to the ones that you see on Amazon, but the fan actually works because some of the ones on Amazon, the fans were hit and miss. These ones come over from China. And, a lot of times there were disasters that would happen. I mean, it would catch on fire and it just would be a disaster. But he said, and that's why if I order anything like that, I do it through Rick, because I know Rick knows and he sources things when he gets these things built that he advertises on his website.
That's a good point, Bill, because you know what you're getting because he's already tested it.
Exactly.
And versus what we see out there, it could be a fire hazard, like you were saying, because you're pushing a lot of electrons, right?
Yeah, you really are. And that's why I trust him, whenever he does. And you know what's so good about Rick? Okay. It's like I've met him several times. All right. The guy's just absolutely, he's like, you know what he is? He's a 13-year-old trapped in a 60-year-old body. Okay. His enthusiasm.
Yeah, he really is.
But he's the biggest nerd too, just like us.
He totally is. Well, I'm going to have him on. He's going to be on it in a couple of weeks on the show.
Oh, so please let us know.
I will. I'm looking forward to having him on. He's just absolutely great. Absolutely.
I know.
Well, one of the things before, I know we're going to wrap up here in just a little bit. I would love to have all you guys on sometime on Tuesday night.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say guys, and Jenna, I'm so sorry. I keep saying that. I say that to my wife too, so I don't get yelled at for it. So, I'd like to have I'd like to have all of you on Rotor Talk sometime. Because I've really enjoyed this discussion tonight. You guys are great, very knowledgeable, and it's because believe it or not, I've had some people on the show and early on when I started out and they didn't, A plus, 1 + 1 wasn't 2. And it was kind of rough.
Give us a break, guys, man.
it would be great. So, I'll extend an open invitation to all
Thank
of
you so much.
To have you on. Love to have you on sometime.
Appreciate that, Bill.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. So with that note, I'm going to grab you guys and corral you again because we got to drop. We're a minute over. So we're going to go ahead and drop. So with that said, wave goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining, everybody. It was really fun.
Thanks, everybody.
Joe, thank you.
Joe, and y'all don't
I really appreciate you having me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you again.
Y'all hang around.